What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. And right away, my man Roberts, Infinite Realms, understood what I was doing starting at 8:05 WCW Saturday night with the 8:05 time. And of course, that would be interrupted by some Braves game going a little bit longer. So if I wasn't home, the VCR tape, the VHS tape would miss everything for the first 10 minutes of WCW Saturday Night Live. Or Saturday night, not Saturday Night Live. What's up, everybody? 80s kids from the 90s, universal greeting, Ba Weep, Grana Weep, Mini Bond. Of course, the universal greeting, sorry, all out. And 80s kids from the 90s. I have an outdated Bespin, Black Series Bespin Luke Skywalker. I think we need a new one. We 100% need a new one because, gosh. So, anyway, hope everybody's enjoying today. This draft for a lot of you all, draft Thursday, the start of the NFL draft for everybody whose team does not have a first round draft pick, because my Niners don't, so I'm just sitting around doing nothing. And I figured we should talk and let's go into this thing. Ski Raider, what's up, guy? How's it going? So let's get into this. So earlier this week, we got the big reveal, the one that we did not know was coming from Hasbro. And that's so often we have these big reveals coming. It's like, okay, we knew this was coming because we saw it in some lists, but then every so often they managed to surprise us. So this time it was the Joe Fix-It, and this bad boy looks crazy. So many good details on it. It's got the pinstripes, it's got the hat, it's got the ugly, mean Hulk expression. It's great stuff. He's got a little Tommy gun action going too. Let me pull that in here as well so we can check this out. This is the kind of figure I'm hoping to see more of as Hasbro continues rolling out figures. These ones that we need bad updates for, because it's been so many years since we had an improvement on it. And it's just exciting to actually get new figures and not just the ones we've seen before. So there's Joe with his big Tommy gun. And I don't know how many of you all are like me. You've been holding on to so many of your Toy Biz figures. So here's my Joe Fix-It Tommy gun held together with a rubber band. Not sure if you can see that, but I love the brutish nature of this. Kind of wish the Hasbro one had the disheveled tie and then the shirt kind of undone. This figure actually still holds up pretty well. Pull him up against his most recent Captain America. So he's not too bad, not too far off. I mean, he wasn't super big and super tall in this incarnation of Gray Hulk, and he's actually got an action feature, which, yes, it does still work. Awesome. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I'm like, man, there's so many different versions of figures, and I'm like, yeah, Ski Raider, that Toy Biz one was classic. There's still way too many Toy Biz Hulks in my collection, and I was looking around, I'm like, I need that one improved, I need this one updated. This Joe Fix-It was definitely one. I still want to see what Hasbro can do with a Mecha Hulk. That figure is massive, and I always have to put him against the back end of the shelf so he doesn't topple over and knock everything off. But there's so many. I still have that face-off Hulk. I really like that figure. Thought it was really good. But there's so many figures, and I'm looking around in my collection. I'm like, I have a few too many of this guy. Like, why do I have 7 Captain Americas? I was digging through my collection, pulled out the classic, the original Captain America. I have no idea where his shield is. It's somewhere in here. But again, like Joe Fix-It here, all held together by some rubber bands. But all things considered, I still love this head sculpt. I mean, it's great. And I think this is the most classic Cap head sculpt of all these figures. Hot Banana Water says a good indicator for the need of an upgrade is when the build or anatomy of the character makes the figure look off. Yeah, Cap has been doing a lot of his waist. Maybe he's wearing a girdle here, but absolutely. And I think some of the rubber band, yes, it did just fall off. So that's what happens when you have old figures. An updated Captain Marvel would be nice. Are we talking about the original Marvel, that version, or Warbird Carol Danvers Captain Marvel? I kind of like the figure. I love that outfit for her. G Suplex. Don't think Hasbro could top Mecha Hulk. And it would be $60 with little detail. I'm thinking that figure would be $80, and maybe we could get a paint wash on it, maybe. But he definitely wouldn't come with any accessories, and you wouldn't have that compartment where you could slip in the gremlin. I thought that was really cool with that figure, and I'm probably just gonna have it. I feel like there's some Toy Biz figures Hasbro's not gonna touch or make better. I'm hoping finally we get to knock Giant Man off that list, but Mecha Hulk's probably just not gonna get beaten at all. Lefty Two Lions BK, what's up? You finally on time for this live? Yes, 8:05. We're going to Ted Turner time. We're doing the thing. Hot Banana Water. That when the character's missing key accessories or proper suit details. Laugh out loud. I want a new Superior Spider-Man with his legs. Yeah, I actually like that Superior Spider-Man that Hasbro did. That's a really cool figure. And that was at that time where it was like, okay, Marvel's doing some wild stuff, and I'm along for the ride. I really liked Superior Spider-Man. That was fun stuff. Carol. Yeah, I still like that mold that they use because that's actually one that has like some actual substance. So many of these Marvel Legend female figures are like stick thin and they don't have any kind of substance. The DC Classic figures with their female figures were way worse, but they're still a little too on the skinny side. And that one gives Captain Marvel a little bit of a powerhouse look to her without looking like She-Hulk. But yeah. Guns N' Roses 63. I like a Carol in a red suit. My favorite look because of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That show was so amazing. I feel like every time I watch one episode, I end up watching the full 2 seasons. But I love that. And with all these shows coming back, we got the X-Men animated series coming back. I would love a 3rd season of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's one of my favorite all-time cartoons because they stayed so close to the actual comic stories, even getting the proper characters in there. And it's like, oh man, you guys are doing the Master of Evil. Awesome. So I definitely want to see that. And that'd be really fun to see her in that outfit as well. Robert's Infinite Realms. I mean, while there's an update to Mark 1 Iron Man, I don't feel the need to upgrade my Toy Biz Marvel Legend version. So that's the thing. I was looking with my Captain America here, and this figure has been replaced so many times in my collection, but this is the classic Captain America. And I still wish there was one Hasbro Toy Biz version that had that black in the mask. It was funny because Marvel Select actually did what I wanted to do with all their Captain America figures. And I think this figure doesn't look the greatest, but it actually gets it right. It's like, hey, this is that Captain America you wanted. And it's like, yes, this figure 100% is what I want to see. This look here, absolutely classic Cap with that black mask outline there going. And the rest of their figure is pretty bad. And I love what Marvel Select has been doing, but this figure, not the best. But anyway, so I'm looking through my Captain America collection, and I wasn't able to find all of them, but I've got this one, the face-off version, a great Captain America figure. This is the first one that had the scales actually sculpted, had a serious expression, great flared boots. I felt like this was a real upgrade over this one, with the exception of the head sculpt. I think this was the only one where this head sculpt still holds up better than most of the other ones that have come after it. And then I was like, well, what other caps do I have? So I have the darker blue version of this. Then I have the more classic Cap version with the scales painted on. He's got a shield, of course. Don't like the head sculpt. I mean, this is another one where it's like, this is bad. Then we get this classic one. And this was the Marvel's 80th anniversary one. Love this cap. It's got all the sculpted details. It's a great looking figure. A little bit too dark, maybe. And then finally added to the collection. But I won't tell you how I got this figure, but for those that know, thank you. Yes, this is the great classic 20th anniversary Marvel Legends Captain America, soon to be reviewed on this site, but I was really happy to finally get this guy. And I think this is actually the upgrade of this figure that was needed all along. And I think we finally got it. Like I said, I still wish we get a little bit of that black around the mask, but otherwise, a great update. So let's see here. Keith Feinstein, Earth's Mightiest was amazing. Yes. Always will fight as one. That cap still holds up. Yeah. I know it's funny because I was looking to put him up next to more of my modern Avengers, and I was like, actually, he's not that bad. And I've bought in so many Captain America figures during this time, and I'm still like, yeah, but if I only had to have one Captain America figure and this was the only one I got, I wouldn't feel too upset about having this one in my collection. And I kind of feel the same way about that original Marvel Legends Series 1 Iron Man 2. Hulk needed an improvement, but those two, I thought they really knocked out right away. G-Suplex. Some of the Toy Biz figures back in the day still top some of the Hasbro figures. Which ones? Because I feel like for the most part now, most of the Hasbro figures are finally overtaking their Toy Biz counterparts. I mean, there's some that, I think maybe that head sculpt for the Doctor Strange until this most recent one we got was still beating all the other ones that Hasbro did. But this latest classic one, I think that finally took Doctor Strange over the edge there. Glenn Jackson, let's get a classic Moonstone. We need a classic. We need a bunch of Moonstones. We need that classic look for her. We need the Meteorite version. We need her Miss Marvel version too, because we need a bunch of figures of her because she was a great character and a great villain. James Green, the 20th anniversary one is the best one released so far. I think so. I think the debate is ended until we get one with the mask outline, because that's my thing. Ryan Daly, what's up, guy? How you doing? Abomination. Are you thinking that the Toy Biz version is still better than the Hasbro one? Because I was holding on to that Abomination figure for a long, long time, but the ball joints were starting to get a little funky on my figure. And when I switched over to the Hasbro, I was like, okay, this works out. I still think the sculpted detail on that Toy Biz one was better, but it's not too bad in terms of the Hasbro figure. Cap figures stay relevant, like being in that ice block. Great collection. Thank you. It's so wild. And I have other Captain America figures, not even including the movie versions, but I had that one that came in the 3-pack with Radioactive Man, Captain Marvel / Warbird. I thought, even though I don't really care about the Ultimates version, that was a really cool figure. There's tons of Captain America figures, the more modern armored up version, lots of them. And I think now with this long overdue figure in the collection, I finally have the best Captain America figure, and it's just a question of who is donating their shield to help this Captain America plug in his shield. Lots of options. Maybe I'll take this one from Toy Biz. I think this is the most classic one, and it's got the strap so you can wrap it around without needing these sculpted ones. Who knows? Let's see here. Hot Banana Water. Definitely a pipe dream. But what if Hasbro updated pre-MCU movie heroes? Who wouldn't want a Nick Cage Ghost Rider? And I personally wanted Ian Gruffudd as Mr. Fantastic. I'm actually not mad at you on that, because the first Ghost Rider film was fine. I actually liked that movie, and Nick Cage was really good in it, playing a Nick Cage character. I feel like he's a guy who every other movie he's really good in. And if you're kind of like the Star Trek movies where it's the even one is, or it's the odd one that's kind of shaky, but the even one's really good, that's Nicolas Cage's movie career. And I really liked the Fantastic Four cast in those movies. I felt where they dropped the ball was Dr. Doom, who was spitting puns and was just terrible and blowing my mind every time he spoke. But yeah, I thought the Fantastic Four was cool. Maybe that guy who played the Human Torch will go on to do something big in comic books. So Beast, Nightcrawler, and Abomination are some original Marvel Legends Toy Biz that I think Hasbro hasn't topped. Close though. That Nightcrawler was really good, but I hated his head sculpt. He looked too mean. I actually took a DC Direct Aquaman figure and I cut the ears off of my Toy Biz one and glued it onto the smiley Aquaman. This was like maybe his first DC Direct figure. Super glued them on, painted his face blue, had a smiley, happy Nightcrawler. Let me see if I can find this thing for you guys, because that was I can't. Anyway, I have to track it down and find it and show you guys how it turned out last time. But I really preferred that over the more modern one that Toy Biz did. But then we finally got a smiley, happy Nightcrawler, so I really like that one. Beast, oh man. So I still have my Toy Biz Beast. I have him repping in my X Factor shelf. And I need the brown and yellow Beast anyway. But for now, the Toy Biz Beast is still hanging in my collection. I think they did a really good job capturing the Jim Lee likeness, probably more so than Hasbro has at this point. Oh, you don't have an Abomination. He's a really good figure. I think you can't go wrong either way. I don't know what the Toy Biz value is now, but I think either way you go, it'll be fine. Keith Feinstein, my number one want will always be a nice, bulky Kirby-style Machine Man. You could basically say Kirby style anyone, and I think I'd be game to get a new version of that figure. E. Templar Hunter, which do you like better, the 20th anniversary cap or 80th anniversary cap? I think this is really going to come down to when I open this bad boy up, because I really like how posable this figure is. He's so much fun. I do notice that he has sculpting here, and this cap doesn't have sculpting around the crotch area, and I like the color blue on this. It pops a little bit more. This is a little bit too dark for Captain America. I'm sure I won't be getting rid of him, as you can tell from my Toy Biz collection of Captain Americas. And I didn't even put my Cap Wolf out here, so I don't think I'll be getting rid of him, and I'll have just a massive collection of characters. And you guys let me know which figure you have the most of one character. And I'm not talking about like Star Wars where, well, Luke's wearing a Bespin outfit now. Now he's in Dagobah fatigues. Like, which one version that you have the most of a character in the exact same outfit with slight alterations that are improved and enhanced each time out? Well, let's see. G Suplex. Well, Toy Biz did a better Hobgoblin, true. And Green Goblin. That's the one I actually have front and center of my Spider-Man villain shelf, especially with their gliders. Yes, yes. I hate the fact that my Hobgoblin and Green Goblin can't, crouch down on their gliders without toppling and falling over. But that Toy Biz one stays perfect. And I love the way that figure turned out. The head sculpt really evokes the John Romita Jr. style, or John Romita, not Jr. on that one. But yeah, so really great job on that head sculpt and really fun figure. Hulkbuster 2 is better, in my opinion. Okay, I don't mind the one that we got from Hasbro. It was fun assembling that Build-A-Figure. James Green, what do you think about that new Mr. Fix-It that's coming? Well, yeah, excuse me. I was talking about that one earlier. I really like how they did on this guy. He's really big, and I think they did an awesome job. That head sculpt. He looks mean and not like somebody you want to cross. I'm really curious now. We're just a few more figures away. We're a better Ghost Rider, Dan Ketch, away from being able to do the new Fantastic Four. So that would be really fun to do as well. I want a new classics Ironmonger and classic She-Hulk. Now, what do you think is so bad about the one we have? Because I really like that Ironmonger. It's got the colors that really pop, that blue pearlescence, and it really shines. We 100% need a new classic She-Hulk. I need a new classic She-Hulk. And I thought with her show on Disney Plus, that was going to be Hasbro's cue to make a new version. The Disney Plus Marvel Legends figure they gave us was exceptional, but I do need a classic one. And I'm kind of thinking, do I want her with the shredded purple shirt and bare feet look, or classic Avengers She-Hulk where she's got her purple and white leotard about to hang and join the Fantastic Four and fighting in Secret Wars? I don't know. Let's see. E. Templar Hunter. I have never seen a Toy Biz figure I want in my collection over its Hasbro counterpart. Oh boy, okay. That's interesting. I feel like there's still a few. Maybe you haven't seen Mecco, but I guess that's true. We don't have a counterpart. What about Dracula with the ball joints? Tom Finn, 2018. What's up? It's time to upgrade when Hasbro releases the same figure with a slightly more accurate paint deco as a retro card or fan channel exclusive. So 2 or 3 times a year. Excuse me. Just like changing oil on your car. Absolutely. And it's kind of like, this was the cap where I felt like Hasbro really got me, because they released this in slightly darker colors first, and then they shifted it up and put the scales on them, and they didn't sculpt them like those earlier Toy Biz figures. They just painted the scales on. It's like, okay. But I was like, well, this is more of the classic color cap. And I felt burned because it really wasn't that long ago when I got that original figure that came with the Cap Wolf head. And I felt like, you guys are getting me with this retro here, and I'm not really a fan of it. And then that doesn't even include all the numerous red and blue Spider-Mans, somehow all these symbiote Spider-Mans that I've gotten in my collection. I feel like I've got 4 because they keep changing the body. Oh, this one has slightly better articulation. Oh, now he's got toe articulation. It is so hard trying to do with those updates, those minor updates where you just wish they would just do one great one and knock it out. 30 by 60. I hope Hasbro gives us an updated Mandarin. Yes, that's one figure still that I'm just thinking of on my Toy Biz to convert to Marvel Legends from Hasbro list. And I don't know if we're ever going to get that version, because I feel like maybe Hasbro's like, maybe that's a little bit too risque now in today's environment. But for sure, I want that version of Mandarin. I'm just should have taken a picture of my Toy Biz figure still in my collection. Oh yes, Iron Fist, a classic one of him. We finally know now we're getting a Luke Cage, so he's one that we need an update for sure. Robert's Infinite Realms 20th anniversary cap was my favorite Marvel figure last year. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I may have to make an asterisk from make him my best figure that I opened in 2023. But yeah, I think from everybody raving about him, I'm going to love him too. 80s Cap is my favorite, or 80th anniversary Cap is my favorite. Well, the 80s kid from the 90s, that makes sense. E Templar Hunter. I've taken the head from my blue marble and used it as a makeshift Isaiah Bradley head on the 80th anniversary Cap body. Huh. Maybe you can show a picture of us because I'd love to see how that turned out. Keith Feinstein, Spider-Man. I have a million. Yeah, it's like every time they do a slightly better version. And when they finally got the pins out for the Spider-Man figures, well, I had to get that one because now it didn't have any of those stupid red pins showing through on the blue inner part of his arm. And more Spideys on pre-order. I know. I feel like every time they do a slightly better version of him, and it's like, okay. Tom Finn 2018 has got to be Cap for me. I still won't part with my Toy Biz Marvel Legends 1 Cap. Yeah, I feel like I did trade out my Hulk and Toad. I was like, yeah, let me get rid of him now. But I don't think I see a scenario where I'm getting rid of Captain America, of Iron Man, still have Series 3, Magneto. I think I still have the original Doctor Doom. I still have a lot of those Marvel Legend figures from Toy Biz, and I don't know what I'm doing with them. I'll just have them on like a separate classic vintage display, but they're really good. And I think, Hasbro did or Toy Biz did such a great job on those original figures that I can't part with them. 80s kid from the 90s. I had the retro Green Goblin. However, the new pack with MJ looks way better. So you're talking about the animated one. And that is one that I was thinking of kind of when I was doing this too. Like, yeah, this figure sort of looks okay. I'm not too mad at it. So let's see. Let's grab this shot here. Pull that bad boy up for us. Bam. Yeah. I think the head sculpt really has a classic look. And I'm trying to remember on the comics or the cartoon if he had that kind of various tone outfit with the belt and the pants being different from the gloves and the tunic and the hat, because that seems a little off to me, but I'm sure that's how it looked in the cartoon. But yeah, very interesting style, and I'm sure you'd be happy to grab that one. Robert's Infinite Realms. My most the same would be Iron Man red gold armor from the 70s and 80s. That's the one I know, and I'm a sucker when they do repaint. When they redo and repaint it, Iron Man is probably my favorite character too. Yeah, so Cap is clearly one of my favorite Marvel characters. If I didn't think so before, all these figures would indicate it. Another one that I keep feeling like I'm a sucker for, and every slight upgrade I'm buying is Cyclops. I had the Toy Biz one, and he was way too skinny. That was one that Hasbro, when their first crack, when the Bucky Cap body, which already starting to feel old at that point, was such an upgrade. And I was so happy to replace that figure because, geez, that original one was so small and so slender and skinny. It was just a mess. And so I got the jacket one from the Love Triangle set. And now I have the X-Men animated series version of Cyclops, which everyone's saying is the best version of the Jim Lee attire. So I can't wait to actually open this figure up and check it out and see if that's the case as well. Left to Two Lions BK. The 80th Cap was and is still a dope figure, but the 20th Cap is a great upgrade that doesn't necessarily have to replace the 80s Cap. I'm kind of feeling the same way, as I feel like I need to do some readjustments to my collection because I have so many Captain America figures, Iron Man, and Thor adjacent characters now that I feel like those three main Avengers could have their own shelf of villains and supporting characters and still fill out a shelf pretty well. And that's where all these different versions, these different characters are going to come into play. So I'm thinking I may have a Toy Biz Avengers collection, this iteration of the Avengers. This is 70s crew. This is Cap's kooky quartet version. There's a modern version. And maybe that's where I throw in this 80th anniversary one because it is still a dope figure, like you said. Ryan Daly, I've got 7 Peter Parker Spider-Mans in different forms: Pizza, Original Retro, Cell Shaded Retro, Renew Your Vows, Amazing Fantasy, 15, Retro Black, and Ultimate. I feel like it is so easy to have so many Spider-Mans. I think that was my problem with this last 5-pack, where it's like, I do not need another Spider-Man. You can come up with any random villain. I just don't need another Spider-Man. I'm still needing to buy that set, by the way, so I need to get on that. Jay Woods, it's a tie with 3 each of the Hulk, Thing, and Thor, using both Marvel Legends and Diamond Select Toys select figures. Yeah. Hulk, Thing, and Thor are pretty solid choices. Do you have that Thor with the spinning Mjolnir? That was a really cool take on that figure, and I was kind of like, I want that one. 80s kids from the 90s. I want a new Iron Fist. Yeah, that is one figure that I am so shocked that we didn't see revealed at the end of Black History Month to go alongside his buddy Luke Cage, because I really was expecting to see that figure, and when we didn't, I was like, oh, come on. You guys missed a perfect opportunity. And he was such a he's badly in need of an update, and I'm just waiting for that figure, because it's like, come on, guys, we've got this one, and I still have him hanging in my shelf, just waiting to be replaced. And I can't wait to take Luke Cage out and just go, ha! Now we finally got the upgrade. But that's how it goes sometimes. Jay, oops, Silver Surfer has 3 too. I forgot the one that came with Galactus. Yeah, I'm gonna have 3 Silver Surfers too, and I feel like they've made some more that I didn't get anyway. That's wild. Did anybody get that old Secret War? What a Silver Surfer. We had the arms stuck like that, and he had the silver chrome. It was a really cool looking figure, but definitely needed an update from Toy Biz back in the day. I've got my Alex Ross cap on display with my Shield agents fighting Hydra, and the 20th cap on display with the Avengers. So I finally got around to opening up my Agents of Shield pack that I've had forever, and it was actually fun reviewing those. You can see them today on the website. But yeah, this is my crack here at the Agents of Shield. I thought that was really fun to put them up. I had 2 of those Nick Fury Shield figures, and I just use them because they have a little slightly different trim on their harness. I use them. They're the ones with the red visors as the, early ground level Shield troops. Then you get to the silver, and then you get to the gold. So, but I really love that set. I thought it was fun outside the really small ones. Lefty to Lefty BK, thank you so much for the $5. Really appreciate you. And let's see. Tom Finn, I want She-Hulk in her classic purple and white leotard. He's also an easy Fantastic Four repaint. I feel like that has to be something they do, and it cannot be something. I mean, because I feel like we've seen some bigger figures from Hasbro with She-Hulk, but for whatever reason, they seem really outdated. Like, I was really tempted by that A-Force one, but I said, no, don't do that, because that's not a good enough figure. But yeah, we need a better version of She-Hulk, and one with big bouncy hair that doesn't get in the way of articulation. But yeah, she's in desperate need of one. Lefty to Lions BK. The upcoming Destroyer armor looks awesome, but I've never seen the OG Toy Biz version in person. I'll try to make a point next week to pull it off my shelf, because I still have the Toy Biz version, and that was on my list of Toy Biz figures that needed replacing. I cannot wait to actually replace it, because that figure looks amazing with all the spikes and everything. But the Toy Biz version was really cool, if a little undersized now compared to the sized up versions that we got from Hasbro. 80s kid from the 90s, the original Nick Fury would be great. Yes. It is funny because the one that Hasbro gave us was okay, but I felt like the head sculpt had more of a Jim Steranko version from that Toy Biz figure, and I feel like I still have that in the parts bin. Maybe I should see what that looks like on the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. body, but yeah, that's a good idea. Still hoping Iron Fist gets his update to go along Luke Cage later in the year. I'm with you, Hop Banana Water. That is definitely a figure that we need done this year. So we have them on the shelf, and we're still gonna have those stupid closed up boxes, so we can't see the figures, but it's gonna be really cool when we finally get those 2 together. Oh yeah, Gabe Jones and Dum Dum too. Yes, absolutely. I need a classic Falcon with the chest showing and the smaller wings. Hasbro hasn't given us the classic Falcon yet. Yeah, and I feel like there's 2 versions of classic Falcon, the green one and the red and white one that we all know and love. And I still have that Toy Biz version in my shelf, and with those really big ball shoulders and the bad pins as well. Just really not a fan of how that turned out. Oh yes, with red wing as an accessory and that glove with the claw. Yeah, that'd be fun. We should get those. That'd be really fun to get. Spider-Man, I literally did not update him from Toy Biz days until last year. Just never felt the need to. Which one did you get? I am amazed that you were able to hold off with so many different Spider-Man figures, because the Raph set came with a Spider-Man off that pizza Spider-Man body, and then I got the retro one because I like the brighter colors. But Man, it seems impossible to have managed to hold out that long with just one Spider-Man. Jay Woods, now that Luke Cage is coming, I'm praying for a 70s Falcon and an OGB. OGB, help me out. I'm trying to remember. I'm sure after I ask, what's going to come to mind. We also need a good Loki from Hasbro. The recent releases look plain. Yeah, you know, it's funny because that Toy Biz one, I never really liked. I know they were kind of basing it on a figure from that time, but I really was like, this is not my Loki. I need a classic version. And what we got was not it. And I was just so surprised with how they turned out with that. And let's see here. Let me pop up this old version of Loki so you all can see what I'm talking about here. Yeah, it had too much detail and it really didn't fit in with how Toy Biz was doing that line at the point, because it was like, that's what I want. And we didn't get that. It was funny because with Loki, we actually got a better one with this one way back in the day with the hardly articulated version. So yeah, it was really interesting seeing that version. I feel like we need one with the sculpted chainmail and not the painted on version like we got from Hasbro this latest go round. The previous Green Goblin with the sculpted scales was amazing. Let me see how fast I can pull that one up, because I liked it, but I did not like that head sculpt. I felt like it was missing a little bit something for me. And I was like, okay, there we go. Let's go to this guy's site and pull it up. Show you all what I'm seeing. Yes, Lyle's Movie Files, where I do my figure reviews. So I really did like this chain mail. Thought that was really great. And yes, we got those really funky eyes going. But yeah, I thought they did a really nice job of the sculpting, but that Black Knight mold was a little hard at times to move and maneuver. It was like, oh no, what's happening? And yeah, but you know, it does look cool in some of these with the scales. I really like the ears and the detailed work on the helmet mask. So yeah, it's not a bad figure, but yeah, I really liked how that turned out. But I still felt that the Toy Biz one had a better head sculpt, and I think that was the only thing kind of holding it back from taking its place, or that not being able to sit in its stand either. Ryan Daly, the need to update yes, they really do need to update that neoclassic Iron Man. The vintage card wave figure is laughingly bad now. That was so bad, I didn't buy that figure. It was like, why are we getting this super small, tiny version of Iron Man? And that outfit is really cool because that's what he was rocking when he came back to the West Coast Avengers, and when Human Torch was around, and we were doing the whole Dark Phoenix take on Scarlet Witch because John Byrne was on the book. It was fun, but man, I still need that neoclassic, and I really liked how that armor looked anyway. Jay Woods, with Luke Cage coming, I'm praying that Falcon and Iron Fist from their 70s attire are coming. Yes. I would like to see a Commander Rogers. I'm a big fan of the Secret Avengers book. I really like that. I thought it was a fun read. So I need that one. And that is definitely something that I have in the queue, because I was looking for my Sharon Carter, Agent Carter figure, and I pulled that up. So bear with me just a second. And I'll pull up my Secret Avengers so you can see how those guys turned out. So let's go on down and we'll see that Secret Avenger shot, because that was a fun team, and really would love to see a Commander Rogers, because I didn't get that figure when he came out. I thought his head sculpt looked way too much like John Cena. So yeah. So there's the Toy Biz Beast that I was talking about that's still in my collection. And there's the old Toy Biz Moon Knight that's still there, but he's been replaced by a superior version from Hasbro because they did do a better version. I still have the Toy Biz Ant-Man for the moment, because when that Target one comes, he is getting replaced ASAP. What about Annihilus? I would love to see what Select would do with it. Yeah, because he's a character that can be bigger and it would fit in with their style. I'm kind of wanting to see what Hasbro could do, just because I want a little bit more articulation so he can do those crouching poses and his bat wings just kind of hovering over him. I really would love to see a new Annihilus. He's definitely one I want to see as a figure updated from Hasbro. With the close release of the movie, I wish they did an update on Annihilation Star-Lord. I wish. I mean, I feel like they teased that we were going to get some more comic Guardians, and Annihilation Star-Lord, Gamora would be one. I'd love to see Phyla-Vell make her debut. Maybe even Moonstone, Jack Flag, Mantis, Bug. I mean, I want the whole DNA Guardians, but yeah, I'd love to see him get an update because I feel like that AIM body's getting a little bit old at this point. We could use an update on that. I don't have the room to keep much on display, so I never really mind getting another version of a beloved character. It's always interesting which ones I keep retrieving from the storage bins. Which ones does that tend to be the case? Lefty Two Lions BK. Thank you again for the $5. I really appreciate that. I absolutely need an updated 90s era Dan Catch Ghost Rider with this health cycle. I feel like that was one of the reasons why the Engine of Vengeance HasLab did not get funded, because people were going, okay, one of these tiers has to be an update on the Toy Biz Ghost Rider. Because for so many of us, when we started reading in the late 80s or whatever, Johnny Cage was gone. He wasn't really Ghost Rider, and Dan Ketch became our 90s Ghost Rider. And he's really been phased out, kind of like the forgotten Ghost Rider. But his figure was one of the best ones that Toy Biz did. And I am still amazed to this date that that figure actually came with a bike as his base. I mean, that was nuts. And the fact that we got that as a figure, just straight up with no bells and whistles, we didn't have to change anything. It wasn't this case of, oh man, we got to do so much else. It was like, no, we got this figure right here, and I'm pull this up because this was a great figure. And yeah, I mean, he's too small now. He's got those ball jointed shoulders, which are just awkward and gangly to pose. Yeah, I mean, but I can't believe we got the motorcycle. That was great. And I feel like if they had made that a tier, that Engine of Vengeance would have funded with no problem whatsoever, because it was such a great look and great figure. What about a VHS Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes line? That line to get those figures is after me, because I want all those. I would take all of them, everybody from that show done in the animated style, or they could do just, hey, here's the retro kind of version with cell shading those characters. Maybe that's how we finally get a Yellow Jacket update. But yeah, we would 100% need those guys. An updated Werewolf by Night. Love to pair him with my Moon Knight. Yeah, because that one that we got in that box set, I remember tracking that down at Walmart and being so excited to finally get him. And we got Dracula and all those guys. And geez, that set is so expensive on eBay right now. It's crazy. But yeah, those would be fun. I would love to get those guys updated. I'm trying to pull this thing up so everybody can see. But yeah, this picture sucks. Okay, so we're not going to show a picture of that. Need an updated Wrecking Crew. Mark J, you're right. We need the Wrecking Crew done exactly how Hasbro did them with the Marvel, the Ultimates, the Marvel Universe 3.75 figures, because those were perfect. I want the Wrecking Crew exactly how they looked in Secret Wars. That was my introduction to those characters, and the Marvel Universe versions were perfect. The Marvel Legends take, they're a little bit too modern. They just were too big, and they kind of took some shortcuts to give them that size. And boy, they're out of scale with everything else at this point. And it's just painful now to put those guys in action and go, man, I want to see these guys looking a lot better. And that was another situation where we saw them on She-Hulk, and I had such high hopes. It was like, oh no, what have they done to my Wrecking Crew? This is awful. But yeah, we really, really, really need the Wrecking Crew updated in figure form, because the ones that we have are so drastically oversized from everybody else. Here is, yeah, the Wrecking Crew in all their glory right now from Hasbro. And as you can see, yeah, they're just too big, too tall. They just got to scale tremendously. And we need a better version of those guys. They're classic Marvel villains. We can have them fight the Avengers, fight Thor, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and they need better figures for sure. OLU, you getting a Ramen Racer? I really think so, because that deal is incredible. 175 with the early bird and so many cool add-ons. I wasn't spending way too much time on their website and like, hey, what figures you guys gonna do? Because it's really wild. Jay Woods, what I really could use an updated absorbing man because his left leg is on its last leg. Oh man, yeah, that figure. Yeah, he needs an update. Those four desperately need updates because I don't understand what happened, why they thought sizing them up so much was the way to go, but I'm just not a fan of what they did. I do think they did an outstanding job on that head sculpt. He looks really mean. I love the transition of his parts. That was really nice. But yeah, we really could use one that's more in scale with everyone else because he's just too darn big. And I mean, here's a great example. That's the second Marvel Legends from Toy Biz Thor right here. So he's not the scale barometer by any means. That's the unworthy Thor. This is the supersized Thor that needs to be replaced as well. So you see Absorbing Man is just way too out of scale and just way off. And that's him against the classic, great Toy Biz Thor, really fun figure. Glad to have that in the collection. But yeah, so that's one. How about Banshee in his classic green costume? If you guys have been watching my videos, you know Banshee is like my number one. I need this figure done so I can complete one of my all-time favorite comic book teams, the Uncanny X-Men, the all new, all different X-Men, before we started doing that with every iteration of the X-Men. And Banshee's the last mutant standing, and we just need him to complete that era, that team. Maybe we can get an updated Cyclops on the Vulcan body, but I wouldn't complain because I love the cell shading they did with that black on the outfit from the Dark Phoenix 2-pack. I mean, I love that figure. So if only they can make a better version of that, I will ask for a new one. But Banshee is needed. They're teasing us with that 3-pack with Jubilee. No, it's a Psylocke and Gambit in that one. But we really needed the green classic Banshee for sure. Has anyone received the new Ronin the Accuser? I've seen people that do have it, and I think the results are that everyone is really happy with how it turned out. And I'm just kind of waiting for that price of, I think it was $38 to drop to maybe $33 because a little bit too much for me at this moment. Robert's Infinite Realms, Spidey got Renew Your Vows, Animated, Symbiote, Armored, Amazing Fantasy, and Ben Reilly. Not sure why, but I guess anniversary hype got me. Yeah, there were a lot of Spider-Man figures, and they were like, here's another one, and this is cool too. And I feel like everyone who got those figures, and I know a lot of you all said that Amazing Fantasy was a really good figure, so I may still try to track that down, but yeah. I feel like the figures are never really bad with Spider-Man. It's just they find a way somehow to make an improvement that makes me kind of go, okay, I need this one now. The vintage one. Oh, yeah. No, not the cartoon version. I got you. Jay in the Great White North. I'm hoping you get it soon because I'm very curious to see what you say about that. With the Hulk Buck, I would love to see an OG Drax. Yes, from the Infinity Gauntlet comic books back in the 80s. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was like reading it, Infinite Gauntlet, and I was like, hey, what's going on here? Where is the classic version of Drax? Because that's who Adam Warlock was hanging with. And I feel like now is a perfect time with Volume 3 coming out that we get a classic comic book version of Adam Warlock. I'm surprised that Hasbro kind of let that slip for now. Maybe they're doing a thing where we're going to get the movie version out, and then in December we'll reveal the classic comic book version. But we need to see him, and hopefully they just decide to pack him with Pip the Troll as opposed to making Pip his own $25 figure. 80s kid from the 90s. I would love to see a Secret Invasion era Wasp and Yellow Jacket. Yeah, wouldn't be upset with those either. E-Templar Hunter, did anyone here score pre-order on the new Walgreens Ant-Man? Walgreens is still putting out Marvel Legends figures? Whew. Triathlon and Scarlet Centurion would be nice. You're right. Centurion Doctor, Immortal Hulk with an Alex Ross head and a Joe Bennett head is all I need to stop collecting. I feel like Hasbro is watching this feed, Centurion Doctor, and is going to make sure that they do not release those figures until 2030, just so they can keep you collecting. But I'd love to see an Alex Ross figure, a Hulk one. That would be pretty cool. I was surprised we only got 3 of those Alex Ross figures. We got classic versions of Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. I just assume we get a Spider-Man, if nothing else, maybe a Punisher. I guess you guys can kind of sort of see. the Alex Ross poster here in the back with the classic versions of characters. And yeah, Hulk would be really good. I'd love to see a Fantastic Four from Ross too. That would be fun. Keith Feinstein, the Spidey that I still have never put in storage, even once, is the Sentinel Peter Spider, Peter B. Parker Spidey. Yeah, those figures look really cool, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't get them. Jay Woods, I would love to see an updated Namor, both variants, Speedo and the blue uni. The ML versions on a smaller buck. What buck would you want to see Namor on? Like something comparable to the new Thor figures or the more recent ones like that 80th, or kind of similar to Hercules? I feel like that might be a little bit too big for Namor, but let me know what you think on that. Please give us a new Bucky, Hasbro. Yeah, not the Bucky cap, classic, old school. And of course, we need to make him actually small so he's not towering over Cap. An updated Black Bolt. The sculpted and wings look terrible, and any pose is not with his arms up. Yeah, I feel like that was why Hasbro was taking so long to give us a Banshee, because the complaints that everybody had on the Black Bolt. I'd love to see more of the Inhumans, because it's like we did a Black Bolt, we did a Medusa, and we did that twice, but we still don't have any of the others so far. So I'm hoping we get to see them real soon. Yeah, an Inhumans box set. I don't know why we haven't gotten them. I mean, I figured after we got all of Alpha Flight all at once in that box set, or most of the team anyway, that the next obvious choice was the Inhumans. But I feel like the stench of that TV show made Hasbro run far away from creating any more of those guys. If McFarlane could base figures off of Dan Moore's artwork, I would buy them all up. I am 1,000,000% with you. Dan Moore is one of my favorite artists out there right now. Or if he did a Nicola Scott line of figures, kind of like doing that DC Direct where he's focusing on one artist, that would be great. I would love to see Dan Moore takes from McFarlane. A proper Ditko Strange. Yeah, that would be fun. I'd love to see that with the thinner face and not so much the 70s style that we got. Keith, classic Thor really needs an update with the cloth cape. The plastic one hinders articulation too much. I do agree that it can kind of get tricky posing him, but I feel like we got the big raise portion of the cape, and I think that's really cool. And I don't know how they could achieve that same look with cloth. I mean, would they have to put some risers up there that you'd always see? I don't know. I feel like that's a really tricky and tough one for them to do and make look good at least. How about a box set of Proteus and his used up victim bodies to go with those Uncanny X-Men? Listen, I was just rereading the Uncanny X-Men Omnibus 1, and I'm just starting now with part 2, so the Dark Phoenix saga is about to explode. But I feel like anything from that run from Claremont and Byrne and Cockrum, I would take in figure form. Proteus with the David head and wearing his daddy's body. That would be fun. I would totally buy that. I feel like that's something that they should use Pulse for, because maybe not everybody's down with that storyline, but those of us who know would want it for sure. Zombie Styler. Yeah, I'm with you. I got Ronin, and he's cool, but those shoulder pads are a pain. I remove them. I think he's better. That is the common complaint that I'm seeing, that people really like Ronin, but they love to take those shoulder pads because they get in the way, and they can do more of a hammer smash and pose with them off. Jay Woods, wouldn't battle damage versions of Spidey and Iron Man look cool on the show? So many times Spider-Man's got his outfit ripped up, and I'm surprised we haven't seen that from Hasbro yet, because I feel like that would be an easy sell. And ditto for Iron Man, maybe just swappable parts where the arc reactor is kind of cracked. I don't understand why we haven't seen those. Mark J, the Ronin looks good. The shoulder pads limit articulation. Too few accessories for the price. Kind of wish I'd waited for it to be discounted by Amazon. That's what I'm doing right now. And same deal with Gore. It's like, okay, just keep waiting. Because, I know eventually we'll see them. Guy trapped in the corrupt USA. What's up? They need to do Marvel versus Capcom characters. Big round eye Spider-Man, Blackheart, Shuma, etc. I don't understand why we haven't seen those versions of the characters either. I mean, I guess we kind of sort of got Iron Man in that Capcom versus Marvel style, but I don't get it, because there's so many of those classic characters, and you see they're dipping into sort of a partnership with Street Fighter, with Capcom, with the Power Rangers. So I don't understand why we just don't get the obvious 2-packs where Ryu's fighting Cyclops, Captain America's fighting Ken, and just call it a day. Jeffrey, the new Alex Ross mural collecting 37's villains is coming in August. I will buy that for sure. I'm really upset because my mural, if you can see, doesn't have all of them. Doesn't even have the Fantastic Four. And I didn't realize that wasn't a complete mural. So that's going to be something else I upgrade and replace as well because I really want all of them on there. A new Secret Invasion Thor. Yeah. 30 by 60. We still don't have Lockjaw. I mean, they could do an Inhumans wave and make Lockjaw the Build-A-Figure or make him a deluxe figure. And we all wait till he gets $30 at Target. But yeah, I don't get it. Jay Woods, Namor's buck. I guess Namor and Cyclops are close in stature, so why not the Vulcan buck? Maybe so. And that has the benefit of those butterfly shoulders, so we could get some better swimming / rearing back to slug any Avenger or Ben Grimm and take Richard's wife from him again. McFarlane just gave us Captain Atom. Where is our major force? Listen, McFarlane is starting to get way too much into my jam with all these figures I want because I just opened up my Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, and now we're seeing this Captain Atom. And I'm like, yo, you know what I need? Justice League International, all of them with a proper, way better version of Rocket Red. But yeah, this Captain Atom is a sweet looking figure, and I really can't wait to get this guy. I just think they've knocked this figure out. I want to see Fire and Ice coming soon. A classic Guy Gardner, and shoot, I want a Maxwell Lord with Oberon 2-pack. Let's make that happen, McFarlane. And Beltran, I already need a pinless Jim Lee X-Men team starting with Psylocke and Rogue. So is that Uncanny 275 box set? Those figures are still rocking pins. That's terrible, especially since they're making such a big deal. No more pins. And that's wild. I can't believe we still got those guys. Hasbro makes the most random characters, but characters people ask for, they say the demand has to be there. Seriously, there's so many characters, and I'm still like, why do we not have this figure in Marvel Legends yet? Like, why are we still waiting to get a classic Angel in this line? Like, and there's two. I mean, we need the red and yellow attire. Red and yellow with the white gloves. We need the blue and white Defender style attire. We need a better classic Iceman. There are figures that are on so many lists, and we're still waiting, like Lockjaw. And it's still like, well, hold on, guys. We're going to get to him eventually. We could still use an Executioner, classic comic book style. Remind me why we don't have Agent Brand or Sword Agents, because they're waiting for Secret Invasion to come out on Disney Plus later this year. So then they can release her and look like heroes. But I'm looking forward to seeing Agent Brand. I thought Sword was a really cool new faction they introduced in Marvel in recent times, or recent-esque. It's pretty old at this point. James Green, we need a new Sabretooth Jim Lee style and current style one too. I don't even know what Sabretooth's current style is. I assume, like all the cool X-Men villain, they've made him a hero, and it's just kind of grating my nerves that all the great X-Men villains are now heroes. But yeah, we could use a better Jim Lee style Sabretooth. We could use a better version of the first version that fought Power Man and Iron Fist. I feel like that first one was kind of missed. So yeah, we need a better one of him. JT the Grind, Shuma Gorath. Yeah. I don't know why we didn't get Shuma when we had Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It was like, come on, guys, what are we doing? They did Iron Man and War Machine so far, right? They did do Iron Man and War Machine. Cap 2, yeah, I think their Cap works. I'm just kind of wondering why they haven't done some of these other characters, like the Cable in that style. That's weird. Hey, Robert, thanks again as always for hanging out. And of course, I'll be talking for longer so you can have more to watch as opposed to the next 5 minutes. All right, Keith Feinstein. I can't believe we haven't seen a Spider-Man 66 or an Electric Company Spidey in a 2-pack with Morgan Freeman. Let's make that happen. That would be fun. We also didn't get Comic Cable, which most the Marvel MVC Marvel characters and comic books art. Yeah, we've gotten like the Liefeld version of Cable. And I really love the way that figure turned out. He's a little top heavy though, and topples the rest of X-Force on my shelf. But yeah, I would love that blue and yellow attire, that more streamlined look for him. We need that one. Stacy, I watch your videos with my husband, Robert's Infinite Realms, but just realized tonight I wasn't subscribed. I fixed that immediately. Love your content. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. That's really cool. Jay Woods, being the X-Men's anniversary, I'd love to see Hasbro pull off either an original costume or Neil Adams version box set. You know, you're bringing up two sweet spots for me. I want to see them do a better version than that original box set that is still giving me nightmares with that really weird Angel and Beast head sculpts, and just they were bad figures. But yeah, the Neil Adams X-Men would look really cool. And I did a Freudian slip there saying Neil Adams Avengers. They would also be cool. Make a Kree Scroll box set of the Avengers done in Neil Adams style. But yeah, Neil Adams X-Men figures would be awesome. And that's when they get their individual costumes. And I don't think we've seen most of those in figure form. I'm going to pretend that the Marvel Girl one that we got from the uh, latest X-Men didn't exist, because that figure is just bad all around. But I would absolutely love this. Getting Beast, Iceman, Angel with that really obnoxious colors, but it would be fun. 80s kid from the 90s. I'm looking forward to reading the new Secret Invasion comic. Is Infinity any good? I really wish I could tell you. I'm not reading much Marvel comics these days. I do review DC stuff every Tuesday, so check those out. The new Green Arrow came out this week, and it was really good. Joshua Williamson knocked it out, and Arrow showed up on Flash. So I was excited about that too. And that was actually a good episode of the Flash for a change. Chameleon, but not in a suit and tie, but in his robe and ascot look. I feel like the next Chameleon we're going to get is the cartoon version, and I'd be shocked if he's not in one of these VHS waves coming soon. But I would love that robe and ascot look as well. Templar Hunter, do you use any third-party effect pieces to display your figures? I don't, because I really use the effect pieces when I'm shooting the reviews, and I don't really have a whole lot of space for it. I have like my X-Men shelf. I have too many eras of X-Men on one. I have the Jim Lee, the 80s era, the punk rocker look, and the all new, all different, all in one shelf. The New Mutants tucked away in the back. I need to do some major shelf rearranging and figure out how to make all that work. If you have any ideas, let me know. Kelly, what's going on? Happy Thursday to you. One more day till Friday and the weekend can officially begin. With Hasbro cutting production numbers, I wonder how much clearance figures there will be to get. Well, I feel like even if we're not seeing these clearance figures at Target, we're going to get those Hasbro Pulse warehouse sales. I mean, they do one around Black Friday every year, I guess for the last 3 years. And I feel like if nothing else, that's going to be the time to stock up. Funny story today. I was in my way to Target just trying to find some new figures because I saw the WWE Elite figures were showing up. Some stores didn't have them priced correctly, so they were clocking in at $5 and $10. Not so in my area Target. They were $22.99, so still playing that waiting game. How come in 2023 we still don't have a Hank McCoy in his OG skin? You got me. And I keep feeling like if they do that version, there's so many different versions of Hank they could crank out. The original look, we can get the blue and red attire, the X Factor blue and red, the yellow and brown attire. So there's so many. And I feel like they could even do with that last one, the yellow and brown. They could swap out the human parts and then put the blue parts in there too, and we get a 2-in-1. I'd love to see that. March 8th, do you think we'll ever get Wonder Man in either of his first two costumes? I love the original Wonder Man costume. I would love to see it. I feel like it took forever to get this classic safari jacket version of Wonder Man. So I don't think he's going to be on Hasbro's radar, but I would love to see that costume. And then the terrible, hideous Wasp redesigns. I wouldn't mind his original West Coast Avengers outfit too. I'm planning to buy the Secret Invasion set. Big Bad Toy Store actually has it up now, and people are starting to get it. So let me know what you think about it. You're right, Centurion Doctor. His Avengers run was really fun. I never read his Fantastic Four stuff, but I'm sure it was just as good as his stuff on the Avengers. Hasbro put figures out so fast. But my question is either they have had all these figures and was holding them to the price hike, or they produced them within 2 months. It's funny because McFarlane, when you see a figure, it's like, oh, wow, it's in stores already. But with Hasbro, it's still this months and months and months away before we actually see them. But I think they've kind of learned their lesson after the pandemic, where it was like we were waiting around for so many months for figures, and then we got deluged with them at the end of the year. But now I think they're doing a much better job of showing us something and then kind of following McFarlane's lead. We're seeing it within a month. Hopefully that continues. Kelly Cox from Jay Woods, my local comic shop still has Eternals at $9.99. That is about $4 too much. It's crazy. I feel like Ollie should have every Eternals wave in round these days because, geez, Venom and Brock should be an animated 2-pack. Yeah, I feel like everyone has a civilian, so you're right. I guess we will probably see an Eddie Brock in there as well, and a Peter Parker, which we don't see just yet. Kelly, absolutely. That would be a perfect line for release. Original X-Men, please. Yeah, I'm kind of curious where that would go. Mark, thanks so much for coming through. Hope you have a good one, bud. Thank you for paying attention and coming through. Got trapped in the corrupt USA. True McFarlane, except for the figures I actually want. The Nightfall ones. Dude, oh man, I'm so ready for that Nightfall Batman to put it front and center of my McFarlane collection because I cannot wait for that. Can't wait for Steel. That figure looks great too. That Tim Drake Robin, those figures look great, and I can't wait to get all of them and track down a Bane. I really had that Catwoman in hand. Like, should I grab her? But I guess later. Ollie's, yeah. Ollie's is great. I love going there, and it's like a treasure hunt every time. Like, oh, what are you guys going to have on sale now? I want an Avengers 2012 set honoring the 60th anniversary with updated figures. Shatari soldiers would be good too. That would be fun. Jay, do I think Hasbro will finish the Squadron Supreme soon? No. No, absolutely not. They don't finish teams that have one figure left. I mean, between X Factor still needing Wolfsbane, X Force needing Feral. I mean, there's 2 members that would complete a team right there. They've started the new Warriors, still haven't finished them. We have no new news on an upcoming new Warrior to continue adding onto the team. No updates on Thunderbolts. I feel like they start these teams and then just kind of like, whatever. Geez, the Secret Society, the Serpent Society feels like a team they're actually more dedicated and focused on completing. And I don't know if that's on anybody's top 10 list of teams they want to see completed. I'm happy they're doing it, but yeah, I don't know what their deal is with finishing teams, but I feel like if they started doing more of these 2-packs, like Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum, we would see them completed a lot more on a classic Brainiac and Metallo. I feel like those are going to be gold label figures, and I would definitely pick those up. And I'm really excited seeing what McFarlane's doing now. I mean, he's showing me all the stuff I want. It's like, okay, well, let's do it. ML Beltran, 2-part question. What Fantastic Four do you display? Blue and white or blue and black? Both. I literally have them on the same shelf. I have them right next to each other. I use Human Torch as the divider because I have one Human Torch that I really like, and then I have Johnny Storm in the other. So I've got the Walgreens exclusive on one side, and I've got the blue and white kind of in the middle. I wouldn't mind a proper blue and black with more of a brighter blue and darker black. So clearly there's still another Fantastic Four that I'm down for all 4 figures again. And then because I love the FF so much, I haven't had the modern ones with the blue and black, and I had them kind of tucked away in the back. But yeah, and I'm probably never going to get those red ones. But if they did the Heroes Return version of the FF, I'd probably grab those too. Updated Onslaught. Good mold, but don't like the shiny plastic. Yeah, it's pretty shiny. I really love that Toy Biz Onslaught, the phase 2 version. That figure is great. And that's another one I don't think that Hasbro has it in them to top, because that figure really came out great with all the paint detail. And I don't think Hasbro's about that life. But yeah, Scourge the Executioner. Yes. Yeah, I mean, we've got a great Enchantress. We need him so we can complete the original Masters of Evil. I guess we still need a Baron Helmet Zemo as well. I'm kind of disappointed, Kelly, that Hyperion 2-pack is for sale for $95. Way too much for me. How is this possible? That's way too much. Let me see here. I felt like my gang, the crew over at Entertainment Earth had these figures. And I really hope that they did not decide we're going to charge a whole lot of money for them. See here. So yeah, where are you seeing those figures for $95, Kelly? Because over on Entertainment Earth right now, you can get these guys for $49.99. So don't pay the extra price for it, because that's crazy. Studio Series Optimus Prime. So I brought this up for show and tell. And I feel like when you're updating your figures, a good thing is when you don't have a door for your trailer and the figure is classic old, the sticker is long since faded. You can still do this. Like when you need an update, that's your figure from 40 years ago that's well due for an upgrade or an upgrade. And then you get something like this masterpiece version, which is like, yes. So I feel like because we get Hasbro figures popping up so fast and so often with the re-releases, you don't get that same excitement of, man, this is so much better. This is the figure I've always wanted with this collection. So yeah. Got Trapped in the Corrupt USA. I wish I got the Walgreens Fantastic 14. They were very nerve-wracking to collect because it felt like, are we really going to get all four of these? Because it took so long to get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men in the line, and actually getting that great Ben Grimm and then the Sue Storm and just completing that whole set. It really felt like, oh man, we've won. We got great versions of these guys. And yeah, let's see, who was the last one? Mr. Fantastic. It felt like such a big deal to get those guys in full figure form. Let's see, is this true? No, wow. Here's my old school version with the second edition of Ben Grimm from Toy Biz. But yeah, it was really fun collecting those guys. And the Walgreens set's really great. They did a really good job on those figures. They need to re-release Onslaught, the MVC style one. Yeah, I mean, that's another avenue for them to do that. And Beltran, I'm thinking they'll make a Robbie and Tombstone 2-pack for the Spider-Man animated series. That's where it's going to come. You're right. And I would not mind buying Robbie in this set, even though I have Tombstone, but you're 100% right. That's the avenue to get a civilian and a villain set up. We don't have Robbie. They're kind of doing these first time civilian figures like Aunt May that we've been clamoring for all this time. Robbie makes sense. J. Jonah Jameson later on. We got a new Mary Jane coming. So yeah. Robbie and Tombstone in the prison jumpsuits. Absolutely. Hot Banana Water, switching up to Power Rangers. I want updated Ninja Storm figures for Lightning Collection, but doubtful considering what happened to that Red Ranger. Hot Banana Water, help me out. What happened with the Red Ranger? 80s kids from the 90s. I'm waiting for Hasbro to reveal Studio Series Prime, Primal, Rhinox, and Unicron. Yeah. Only if we can get the Leonard Nimoy sound chip, because, geez. No, not Leonard Nimoy. That was Galvatron. Orson Welles, of course. Yeah, we can have him say Rosebud. But yeah, Unicron is a figure that I'm kind of wishing that I had more money back when that sucker came out, because, wow, I really want that. Like Power Turtle Buster Reviews said, they should make the standard brighter blue Spider-Man, but with interchangeable plug-in eye, squint, normal. Boy, that would be really, really expensive. I feel like they would charge $50 if we started getting swappable eye plugs for these figures. Jarvis, please. You know, I'm absolutely hoping that we get Jarvis in his HasLab with Giant Man that's coming. He's my unofficial early bird tier choice, because Jarvis is not some figure that we would see hanging on the pegs at Target. And are you guys seeing the Puff Adder wave at your stores? So far, I've seen one Baron von Strucker, Yelena, and a ripped open Iron Man box. I don't know what happened. I guess they wanted to open it to see what the figure looked like. But yeah. It's good stuff. So then there are other lines where I feel like I have so many figures, but just because of the nature of the line, you're just going to have to keep buying them. So this is my original Mattel Rock, and this is a cool figure. And I kept the Jack's elbow pad because it actually had detail. It was fun. And then the Nation of Domination version, Rock. So he's got the big Intercontinental title. I don't know if you can see all the details to show that he's a Nation member. And then, hey, I just beat John Cena at WrestleMania, or CM Punk for the title, Rock, with the tribal tattoo. And then they get me all over again, because then they make a super articulated Rock, the Ultimate Edition version, and he doesn't have the head sculpt going, just bring it. But this is an awesome figure. You can do a really good rock bottom. There's so many figures that need improving. And this here was my really great elite version of Kane, and I just never thought that I would need to get this figure replaced. And then they went and did an upgrade with the Ultimate Edition. You can rear back those really great butterfly shoulders. That's definitely where I feel like it's time to get an update when the articulation is so much better than an old version. So I really love when we get that. Hoping Real Ghostbusters get some love this year. Super 7 would be beat looking, but they slow. Yeah, they are. And I have a question. I need to put this out to you all. So I have an opportunity to review a bunch of figures. And I'm trying to decide now, should I go with 3 Silverhawks from Super 7 or go with 3 G.I. Joe? So do I get Duke, Cobra Commander, and Snake Eyes, or do I go with the 2 Silverhawks we've got and one of the Monstars villains, his evil horde? Let me know in the comments what you guys think I should do on that. Keith Feinstein, I'm sure some new Unicron is coming because of him appearing in the new quote unquote movie. Don't tell me you don't love these Transformer movies. I can't even begin to go down the WWE rabbit hole. I feel like now is the time to get them because these Ultimate Edition figures are pretty much the definitive versions. I know back in the day when I was getting Jakks figures and they released those defining moments figures, I was like, oh, wow, they've got so much more articulation than the regular figures. And then they did, hey, here's our deluxe aggression. And it's like, you guys are making slight changes that are better than the other ones. But I feel like these Ultimate Editions are really the definitive versions of these figures. Like they can do so much with their articulation and they have swappable parts, heads, attires as needed. I think they've done a really, really good job with these figures and kind of hoping we see more of those, more classic ones. Rob, Action Figure Attack, mentioned that, or Steve, Action Figure Attack, said that we're going to get an Eddie Guerrero from his Halloween Havoc look, and I can't wait to get that figure. I'm planning to rewatch Transformers 86 over and over and rewatch Bumblebee before the sequel comes out. Transformers, the movie, is like the hype train until Galvatron destroys Ultra Magnus. And now I feel like, okay, then we're just trying to rush to get to Unicron. The answer is Unicron. But yeah, I'm all about those guys. If only get the Attitude Era. Yeah, I mean, they released a bunch of really good ones from the Attitude Era. They've got The Rock, like I showed, Kane, Undertaker, Stone Cold, and Kurt Angle's coming. So lots of good choices. They've got a new Triple H coming from that era too. Not everyone's favorite, but I'm loving the 3-inch Page Puncher, 7-inch Mutant Leaders on the way. Oh, really? That was announced. Awesome, because I'm really looking forward to getting the 7-inch Mutant Leader because I feel like he's one we haven't gotten yet. Get the Joes. Okay, so that's one vote for the Joes. Rodney, what's going on? Hey, my guy, I finally made one of your live streams. Welcome aboard. We are here. Keith, Silverhawks, you got your classified figures. I know, but I just finished watching the G.I. Joe cartoon, so I'm really plugged in with the Pyramid of Darkness, Revenge of Cobra, Rise of Serpentor, Rise, Bazooka Saw, Sea Serpent. So all this stuff is still kind of in my head, and I'm like, ooh, well, they've got Flint and Lady J coming. I think what's going to tip the tide for me if Flint and Lady J look good, because Flint was by far my favorite G.I. Joe in both the comics and cartoons. So if they did a good job, like this first series with Flint, and with Lady J, it's a wrap. I'm going to get those. I probably will get the Silverhawks because I don't have them in my collection at all. And I feel like they need representation as well as Thundercats. So I'm probably going to do both. Silverhawks, curious to see how bad the paint is. They say do the toy version, but when it came to Silverhawks, they went to cartoon. Yeah, I would have liked a little bit of chrome on those. But from everything I've read from other reviewers, they were really impressed with the Silverhawks. And I know Super 7 has at times, well-deserved bad reputation. But these Silverhawks and the Joes are really impressing me. And I cannot wait to see what's going on with them. Jay Woods, do you think Hasbro will ever go back to the starting lineup? They teased us with the NFL. And I thought it was disappointing when they stopped with just NBA figures and not enough of them either. They announced they were going to do the NBA figures before the NFL season started. So they did one wave, and I'm checking out Instagram and I see it's a new story from starting lineup. And I was like, great, we're finally going to get some news on the next wave of NBA stars, the first wave of NFL stars. And it's just the picture of the LeBron James figures. How many points is LeBron scoring tonight? Like, come on, guys, the whole window's closed. I don't think so. I think they're packing all their bags up, and we're not going to hear people on that at all. And Beltran, Are you interested in the Jada Toy Street Fighter figures? I absolutely am. I think they look good, and they've done Fei Long, where I'm still waiting on Storm Collectibles to do. So yeah, for sure. And I'm curious. I guess they showed Ken and Chun Li as the next two figures. So I have the Soda Toys Street Fighter figures. I'm slowly building up my Street Fighter collection from Storm Collectibles. I feel like if Jada Toys keeps cranking out figures, I'll probably get their versions as well. I missed out on Duke. Could they release more of a classic look? Are you talking about for the Classified Series version? I feel like they will eventually, but he's probably the closest to his classic look anyway, that there probably isn't a huge demand. Plus, they just released him with the Tiger Force Ram cycle, so we may wait a while to get him. Entertainment Earth has a deal now for all four Joes for 165. That is interesting. Okay, so that may have sealed it for me, James, because that would cover all four of those. Do you collect any NECA? I do. Not a whole lot. Not as many as a lot of y'all, I'm sure. Lately, they've been making nothing but turtles, but some of their horror figures are outstanding. I love my big chap Xenomorph. Xenomorphs, yes. So happy belated Alien Day, everybody. I have a fairly comprehensive collection of Aliens figures. I still need to get the Drake from the Kenner line just to throw in as my Drake stand-in for the movie. And got those, got the Defenders of the Earth figures. I was just out of cartoon regular viewing when Turtles, the cartoon, was big. So I appreciate seeing how wide NECA is going with their Turtles, but I'm just not as excited and not going to buy into the line because I don't really know those characters, but the figures look really good. And I really wish I had cared and was more invested in the cartoon back then because they're really hitting all the sweet spots with those. Okay, thank you. I'll check those out. When you get a moment, look at that 112 Mezco Ghost Rider. Honestly thought this time last year that this would be the Hasbro. I don't know why it wasn't. I feel like, teasing us with Ghost Rider and then just really doing one Ghost Rider felt like a missed opportunity because they put in the Dan Ketch with that crazy blazing cycle of his with a big shield. It would have been a wrap, but they just didn't, and they really dropped the ball with it. The only neck I really want is American Werewolf and London 2 figures. Yeah. I mean, they're doing some really good stuff. And these lines that they're making, I'm like, oh man, I wish I cared about this property because the figures look awesome. I have Phantom Menace Mall. It's a good figure, of course. We need a new figure. I held on to my Phantom Menace Mall for a long time because he was in the first wave of Black Series. He's going for way too much on eBay, and I was cash desperate at the time. So I sold him. And then I got the figure arts version, and he could do a little bit more than the Black Series version could, but I love to see what Hasbro could do with a classic Phantom Menace Mall. I just got the Clone Wars figure Mall, and I'm really excited to have him because Clone Wars is amazing, and I needed him for his face-off with Ahsoka, but I wouldn't mind getting a Phantom Menace one as well. Rodney, what's my take on the new ramen racers? I think that company knocked it out of the park. Very impressed with what they did there. Last video with the WCW crowdfunding, I did mention Ramen Racers. Check that out, but real fast, I thought they did a really cool job. It's affordable, much cheaper than that HasLab Engine of Vengeance, which I think was super key. And even with the accessory packs where you can put on those flame details, I think it's really good. And they're apparently going to make some version of their take on Robbie Reyes that kind of works, maybe. So I'm really curious to see what they do. The Dukes of Hazzard orange ramen racer that is coming out also looks great. And, I watched the show back in the day. Bo and Luke would be fun. Daisy Duke would be even better. Hulk with blue jeans. Yeah, I was looking at my collection, and apparently I have like 5 Hulks in purple pants. So a Hulk with shorts and a Hulk with blue jeans would be really cool to add into the collection as well. So yeah. All right, so that's everything in terms of my updates. I also have way too many Superman figures. I have 8 of them. It's a whole bunch. It's crazy. What are my thoughts on Masterverse Prince Adam? Well, 80s kids from the 90s. I like that. I like that there's some distinction between Adam and He-Man. I really loved how they did that with Master of the Universe 2000. And if there was any weak spot with the original cartoon, is that Adam looks super buff anyway. And it's just like, oh, look, it's He-Man just without a tan. So I like that they have a scrawny version of him. Probably going to get that. But as with all things Masterverse, I'm probably not going to rush off to buy them because in my area, there were figure reports. People were buying Roboto, Batlin, Froster for $7.99. It's like, well, geez, why am I rushing to get these figures? Stratos was $10 too. Daisy Dukes and Blue Jeans, color matter, but yeah, Daisy Dukes, Jessica Simpson, Catherine Box. Take your preference. Either one works. So it seems like most of you guys are suggesting that I go the Silverhawks route with the Super 7. So I'm probably going to do that. Keith, you said, how about upgrading vehicles? The buzz is that the Ghost is the next Star Wars HasLab. That can't work. But I think it would be a vehicle you can army build like the Imperial Shuttle. So we're talking 3.75. I guess so. Because if they did a Black Series style for the Ghost, I don't really care how much it is. I'm just going to say fund that project. Because, yeah, I love all of the rogue characters, the Clone Wars, the Rebels characters. So yeah, and I need to put this up. I need to get one of those hangers that I can hang from the ceiling, the Attack the Clones shuttle, so I can have that in display. But yeah, that'd be really cool. Lobot, yeah, he needs an update. I don't know why we're taking so long. Vampire Superman has a terrifying head sculpt, in my opinion, but I love it. You know, it's weird because I feel like they've done such a great job with keeping the likeness down pretty good, but this one's kind of a bit of an extreme because they were going more with the 80s style with those figures, and what we got is so different on that end. And it's just like, wow, okay. So let's see here. Pull this up because you mentioned it really is a striking head sculpt on old Superman there. And let's see, there we go. Pull this bad boy up so everybody can see now. And here we go. Vampire Superman. And it's weird because this really isn't how he looks in the DC versus Vampires book. We probably need to do a Green Arrow on that since he's one that's actually missing. But yeah, they did a great job with that head sculpt. And I think they really knocked that out. I'm curious if they're going to do a King of the Vampires. No spoilers in case everybody hadn't read it and is interested in it. Oh yes, Black Series scale is too much. It is, and I know one of these live streams we're going to have to do a long form on vehicles that we want to see, but that is absolutely something we're going to do. Let the May 3rd Star Wars speculation begin. Yeah, because for HasLab with those characters, I feel like they could just do all 6 of them in there, all the Phoenix Squadron. So we get Ezra, Kanan, Zeb, Hera, Sabine, Chopper. And I guess we also need to get our girl Ahsoka. So 7-figure set. I don't know if we could fit all those into a HasLab, but I don't know, man. I could probably buy into that with that. Lefty 2 Lions BK, I agree. Masterverse items can be deferred until the sale comes up. Just to turn to deluxe Man at Arms to save some cash. I've seen that figure, and I've opened my original Masterverse Man at Arms, and I'm kind of like, that Masterverse version looks really cool. And they're kind of getting me because I kind of like those newer versions from Revelations. I don't really like the show that much, but I like those new updated designs. But then they do something like Beast Man, which skews a tad more classic. And I'm like, well, I want this one over that original Masterverse version. I got that original Man at Arms, but then the Masterverse deluxe one looks great. And we know all those deluxe versions of the Masterverse figures go on sale at some point. I ran into Target today and got the SST versions of Fatu and Samu, even though I'm always like, wait. Because they're chase figures, I don't know if I'm going to be able to see all 4 of those guys on clearance at the same time. So I figure I'm going to hold off and get the head shrinkers versions of Samu and Fatu when they're down to $7. Like every Target now has Bradshaw. I don't know why, but nobody cares about them. But yeah. Super Saiyan Berserk, what's up? People should stop buying McFarlane so another company gets a license and makes actually good figures. I don't know. I think McFarlane is actually starting to turn the corner. These last few figures I've gotten from him are real big improvements over the original waves. Like that Flash that we're getting from Flashpoint looks amazing. This Captain Atom looks good. Nightfall Batman, Steel, Robin, showing some real signs of improvement for me. And I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do next. But what company would you want to see take this license up? Todd ever do the generic Superman yet? Red Trunks traditional style? Yeah, there's a Hush style version that is coming. Let me show you. You have that. It is coming. That was actually one of those that was part of that big reveal with the Nightfall Superman or the Nightfall. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let me see here if I can find. There we go. I knew I could find it at some point here. So let's pull this up. Let me save this because it gets spammed hard from all the ads. Let's throw this up so now you can see. There you go. That's the classic style of Superman from McFarlane. I don't know if this body works really well for him. He looks like he has way too thick and big a chest. I'm not really loving the head sculpt. It is definitely more Jim Lee style, but I don't know. I kind of still not scratching my classic Superman itch right now. So maybe. Vampire Superman doesn't make any sense, seeing as he's literally the son, but the figure's cool enough that it makes up for it. I was really digging that story for like the first 6 issues, and they went on a hiatus, and it was like the vampires are amazing and awesome, and the heroes can't do anything, and all the heroes you care about are getting killed. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. That totally makes zero sense with that story. Now, a good alternate Elseworld story that I wouldn't mind them making figures of is Deceased. That was great, and I loved all 3 volumes of that. So I'd love to see those figures. Oh, cool. Hush Superman has been revealed. Yep. Wow, that head sculpt on the vibe. That's probably better than the Morbius we've seen. Yeah, the proportions are a lot off on that. And I think we're just going to be stuck with that head. And as so, it kind of makes the whole figure look a little squat and weird. Am I getting the Batmobile? Or are you going to see the Flash movie? So I keep forgetting to do this at the end of every episode, every live stream that we're doing. My brother and I, we do our own Lyle's Movie Files on Wednesdays where we talk about this stuff. And I'm raising the question, what happens if this Flash movie is as great as everybody's saying it is? Because I feel really burnt on DC movies. Like I'm watching and reviewing them, but I was invested in the Snyderverse. I like the characters, like the cast, and wanted to see them go forward with that. And it seems like this Flash film is going, that's the end of this ride. Hope you've enjoyed it. We're not doing anything else super promise on this ever again. But if the reception is so strong and people are digging it, I just would rather them do here's our continuing adventures of the Snyderverse, and here's the James Gunn, Peter Safran, because now that we've conditioned you that there's a multiverse, there's multiple Jokers running around, why not? To answer your question, though, I'm absolutely going to get this Batmobile when I find it. I keep seeing the Batwing, but I haven't seen the Batmobile just yet. I will back a Ghost in a second, but there's so much that is Ghost would need to do toy wise. Any key feature left off and kill it. Shuttle is easier to nail. Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I can't get into Masterverse. Legs are long or sculpt soft. Something is off. Origins are sweet, and that Snake Mountain they just showed off that's under $100 is even sweeter. Playmate should do what they're doing, take the old 87 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style and add articulation. Yeah. Where's our Masterverse Panther? Yeah, good point. And the classics line is I'm really happy with that collection. I'm really like, oh, what a great collection of figures those are. So I didn't even think I was going to get Masterverse, but yeah, those figures are really cool. And I cannot, yeah, you're right. We definitely need a Panther because I have my Skeletor riding atop his Panther, and we can't do that with Masterverse just yet. Still sticking with my Origins and Classics, Keith. Yeah, I mean, I can't really fault you. Those are excellent, well done figures. So yeah, Action Comics 1000 Superman. He's in my display. Yeah, I think of what we've gotten so far from them, that is definitely the best choice for your Superman. And that was one of my first Parliament figures. And I think they did a really good job with it. I feel like his only issue is his articulation is just so slightly off and can't really hit all those classic Superman poses. But yeah, I would absolutely love to see that version done up a little bit better. But yeah, I think they did a really nice job with this Superman, and stands tall, looks like Superman, and said that articulation. You'd love that elbow to go in a little bit better, sink in a little more. Yes, this is my wide array of Superman figures. So just to show again that I've got a ton of Superman figures, and I don't even think this is all of them. Yeah, it's just so many Superman figures. It's kind of wild. But yeah, that's Superman. And yeah, this is him with the DC Multiverse from Mattel version of Nightwing, and I thought that figure is really good. Did a nice job on that. And this is the DC Essentials figures. So the McFarlane toys actually working pretty well with these guys. So there's Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Batman from the Rebirth version of the DC Direct Essentials. Yeah, he needs to go on a diet. He's been eating a little heavy, maybe having too many super donuts. Sales don't lie. I can never get any DC Multiverse in my stores because they're always sold out. WB loves Todd. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because you can find them on sale online, but not really in stores. It's like they may be a few peg warmers, but in my area too, it's like just a few every so often. Jim Lee Wonder Woman. I still don't know why we don't have a classic Wonder Woman from McFarlane. It's just, what are we doing? I think Deceased has been made by DC Direct, which are 6-inch scales and just distributed by McFarlane. Yeah, they're okay. They're kind of reusing Essentials molds, and I don't really love them doing that as much. And there's still characters like Green Canary that would be really fun additions, but we're not getting any figure that they don't have the existing parts and could just do a little blood damage and call it a day. I'm wanting a Black Series Sabine and hair from Ahsoka. I already have Ahsoka check. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing Ahsoka so we can get them. I'm sure they'll try to figure out how we can throw in a new version of a Chopper and make that way. Blake, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, this is, I think, my third one. I'm having too much fun doing this. So they're going to be a lot more. I may even do another one on Saturday because I want to talk some more about teams. But yeah, they're fun. And I'm loving talking with you all directly. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. So thank you so much. Also, I know you can kit bash parts from Action and Comics, Thousand Superman, and the Rebirth Superman to make the perfect Superman. Show me. I'd love to see what that looks like. You can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook or just whatever, because I definitely want to see the perfect Superman because that's my guy. Clearly, I have too many figures from him, and I need to get those done. All right, so let's see here. So we got that. I'm making sure I didn't miss anything that anybody else said. All right, so while we've been talking, I also wanted to talk about the big news from the week. Let's go pull this bad boy up here. There we go. From toybook.com, and want to get your guys' thoughts on this deal. Mattel Hasbro Inc. licensing pact to create co-branded toys and games. What the heck does that mean? Are we going to start to see Marvel Hot Wheels? Or we're going to see a Barbie Marvel Legends style, like Barbie with articulation? What does this mean? So far, we know it's going to incorporate the movies. So we're going to see some Hasbro Hot Wheels, clearly. I think we've seen like a Marvel Legends style or Marvel Uno game already. We got Barbie Monopoly coming. So lots of cool things in the works, but I'm very curious to see what we're going to get from this deal because that's really fun and the possibilities are really, really endless on that. The Power Rangers should have been sold as a team set, avoiding consistency within teams that do team sets of Marvel who aren't uniform. Yeah, look at X-Force. Look at X-Force is a really great example. We got a Siren, we got Sunspot. They don't match up. Warpath doesn't really work either. So yeah, Hasbro has some work to do with completing teams. They also need to stop with the drop hips. Which ones? Because lots of lines are using the drop hips, and some of them work a lot better than others. So yeah, let's see what's going on with that. But guys, let me know what you think about this deal here. Are you excited about the possibilities of possibly seeing Marvel Legends and all this? Centurion Doctor. We showed that he swapped the abs, the arms, crucial, and the thighs. Whew, that seems like a lot of work. So I have to check out Brad, the DC Universe Geeks video. I do enjoy watching this, so I'll have to check that out. But I'm really curious what we're going to see here. I feel like a lot of us are getting our imaginations running wild. We're going to see Masters of the Universe with Marvel Legends style articulation because those are really intriguing ideas here with this partnership. And what is that going to entail? I must have pulled the pins out after leaving. Yeah, I believe that's it. I believe this merges out of necessity. All right, Jay. Both Mattel and Hasbro stocks have dropped significantly in the last 3 quarters, and they're both desperate to spark some sales. You know, and it's funny because I feel like, at least in Hasbro's case, it's their own doing because they've done these steps that I think it worked against them. They raised the prices, they reduced accessories, they close up the windows so parents can't get that impulse buy when their little kid goes, I want that figure, because they want to see what it looks like and make sure it's not been replaced by a brick. So issues, the price increases were massive, like huge. And they did 2 times. They did 22 and then they went, hey, let's go to 25. So lots of weird stuff on that end. And it really hurt them. For Mattel, I don't really understand why their sales are dropped, because when you look on the pegs, the WWE figures sell pretty well. Masters of the Universe sell pretty well. I think now we're kind of going, well, if they're going to go on discount, I'll just wait till they're $10. But those figures tend to do well, and I don't get it. But yeah, I definitely think for Hasbro, I see why they would want to do this. In Beltran, they might do wrestling Transformers or G.I. Joe Barbies. That'd be cool, seeing Optimus Prime in some red trunks, and what kind of Transformers belt the WWE would try to make so Optimus Prime can rock that to the movie premiere. G.I. Joe Barbies, absolutely. G.I. Barbie, that would be fun. Mattel's take on Star Wars figures. I don't know what they could do better, because I'm thinking about, in terms of 6-inch scale figures, which Mattel figures are better than Hasbro 6-inch figures. I know we have lots of issues and complaints with what Hasbro's doing, but in terms of those figures, I feel like, you can take a look at your Ultimate Edition figures. Those are pretty well done, and those are fun figures, but I don't know what Mattel does better on this action figure front than we get from Hasbro. QC went down and the prices went up. Yeah, the paints were bad, and joints were really stiff and breaking figures right out the package, and you couldn't see how crappy the paint looked from time to time, so that was not good. And I thought Origins and WWE sold perfectly in Jurassic World. Yeah, it's very interesting. Kelly, Hasbro has to pay for the Pinkerton somehow, and that's why the merger. Yeah, it's a really interesting deal. This partnership is definitely something. I'm very curious to see what we get. Dog, what's up? It will just be different Mattel properties of Monopoly. That's kind of what I'm getting from what I'm reading from this initially. I don't know how far this partnership is going to go, where all it'll expand. But yeah, it seems like on these fringe things that I guess a lot of us won't care that much about, that's what we're going to see from this deal. Jay, Mattel Jurassic Park line was going great until they forced some influencers' YouTube channels to be taken down. What better way to watch sales drop from the collectors? Oh, I didn't realize that was happening. So what were they doing? They were just like, no, you can't hype up our line. That's terrible. I'm wanting the Hammond T-Rex. Yeah, that looks great. Blake, let's see some Motu style Star Wars or Marvel figures. They've already done that with the WWE figures. So I think it'd be really fun to see Star Wars in that style, especially because, who wouldn't want to see Luke Skywalker teaming up with He-Man and face Skeletor and Darth Vader? That'd be fun. And the Marvel figures, also a cool one. Back when the Four Horsemen and Mattel had the DC license, they did that Motu versus DC crossover. Had a really fun comic book too, and that would be fun to see Marvel figures and Star Wars figures in Motu Squatty style, not the Revelations, but the old classics look. That would be really cool to see. Yeah, let's make that a possibility and a reality. All right, guys. So I think we're slowing down here. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about before I wind it up and call it a night? And I check to see if there are any crazy trades with this NFL draft. All right, Guy Trapped in the Crypt USA. Weird as is, I want to see Hasbro do DC. I know, I think we're all complaining so much about Hasbro's, all their mistakes, but in the end, when we get great figures like this, can you imagine what a Superman would look like in this style? Or Batman and Wonder Woman? That'd be cool. And it's weird because I'm really liking what McFarlane Toys is doing, but I still would love a 6-inch style DC figure that has super hyper articulation that can hit all kinds of cool poses. And I think McFarlane Toys is doing a little bit better, but I know Hasbro would really knock those guys out. Jay, thank you. The YouTube influencers legitimately bought product that wasn't to be released for a couple of weeks. They did reviews on them and Mattel shut them down. Shut them down. Not good. Austin Crafton, this is really sad that our favorite companies are going down the drain. Well, it's interesting because I was watching Mega J Retro, and he had I forgot his name, the guy from Toy Book, and he was saying that while Hasbro sales were dropping, G.I. Joe Classified sales were actually on the rise. And for us G.I. Joe collectors, that's great news. That means they're probably going to put a little bit more effort and pump out more G.I. Joe figures, and maybe not as much. Maybe it's not as many Serpent Society members of Marvel Legends as we've done in the past, which is why we're probably getting so many Hulks, Iron Mans, Thors, etc. But yeah, I don't I don't know if it's necessarily they're going down the drain, because as long as our generation is here, and we're gonna keep buying these figures no matter what they do, as long as they keep producing them at a pretty reasonably good quality, I think they're going to be okay. Their bigger problem, though, is getting the current day 20-year-olds, the current day 10-year-olds to still be invested in some properties 20, 30 years from now. I mean, when I was 10 years old, I wasn't anticipating still buying action figures. Now that I'm knocking at the door at 50, it's like, hello, 50, welcome. But I'm here, and I don't know if that's a viable strategy for companies like Hasbro and Mattel to assume that there's going to be some line that's going to carry that interest. I mean, I guess Hasbro could do, hey, here's the newest updated version of the MCU up till infinite or till Endgame. But I don't know what's going to carry these lines down the road. Transform and roll out. Sorry. I'm just sorry. Just every time I see stuff like that, I'm right there. Mattel and Hasbro probably won't cross over their licensed properties. Yeah, Omega, I don't think we see that either. I'm thinking that I would love to see the Transformers and Masters of the Universe and WWE. For WWE, this would be really good with Mattel, because like a guy like Rey Mysterio may come out for a WrestleMania wearing a Joker outfit, and that's more of a possibility. But he would also dip into Marvel characters too. And I think it was a WrestleMania, Seth Rollins was rocking an Infinity or an Infinity War Thanos attire, and now with this partnership, maybe that's something that's more on the table. Whereas before, it's like, well, we can't do that. That's not going to happen at all. But now maybe that's something we see, as opposed to, hey, here's Motu versions of Star Wars, etc. By the way, where's the Marvel Legends Luke Cage figure? Not on my shelf soon enough. We really need that guy. James, this was really fun. See you guys next week. See you next week, James. Appreciate it. My draft thoughts. Lamar Jackson just got paid big time, so happy for him, because I don't know what the Ravens were doing. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to check, because I'm curious if anybody saw their team lose some people via trade, because that's always interesting. In fact, I want to see Hasbro do 2-packs like the Toy Biz Marvel versus Capcom line. I want to see that too, because I feel like that would be really fun. And those Marvel Masters of the Universe and DC figures were fun to add in the collection. Let me see if I can pull this up real fast. They were cool. Yes, they were. Let's pull this up real fast. Ugh, of course. All right, let's see here. Let me pull up another one. Here we go. So our guys, our friends over at the Fush, who are able to do this better. These were really fun collections. Fakor and Bizarro. That is clearly the best 2-pack option you can get. And that makes a lot of sense. And we got all these guys. Bizarro and him is just, that makes sense. It's a good combination. We also had Green. All right, an ad. All righty. Then we had Green Lantern, the Space Crusader, and Zodak. So lots of fun pairings on those 2-packs. And I'd love to see them do more of that in the future. Funko did a DC Primal Age about 4 years ago. DC and the Multi. You're right. I forgot about those figures. Yeah, those were kind of cool. I loved seeing those on the shelf. Did you get any of those? Hey, what's going on, Blake? A Panther look for Cheetor. Yeah, that'd be fun. Kelly, sorry, but no chance. Hasbro is too expensive for kids. Without new blood, we're seeing the end coming. Yeah, it's weird, because dating myself, but when I was little, I was getting G.I. Joes for $279 and $299, and little kids now, I mean, $25 for one figure, and right now you can't even see what the figure looks like. It's crazy. And I know Hasbro has that Spider-Verse line, which is open and you can see it, but they can't keep relying on every movie to sell this stuff because they're not going to be around forever with the movie. When it comes to WWE figures, Mattel are producing the same old figures. We need more old school WWF figures. Ahmed Johnson, Nikita Koloff, Ivan Putski. I wish Nikita was coming. And we're running out of days in April. So I'm looking forward to my Power Town wrestlers arriving so I can see and hope that we get them from them. Because, geez, we need those guys. Guy trapped in the Crypt USA. I really wish Hasbro did the Street Fighter figures. They were right there, so close with Power Rangers ones. I know it's weird because I feel like they had that license. And from the pictures I've seen, the Jada toys aren't too far off from matching up with Marvel Legends in terms of scale. But yeah, it's weird. I think Power Rangers does the best job of like coming up with these partnerships and merging them into their figure line. So that's really cool. And we got the Cobra Kai figures, that new Miguel and Johnny. Really looking forward to getting them. And my stores are finally getting Daniel and Samantha on the shelves now. So that's cool. The Spider-Man in the 2-pack is the perfect Spider-Man. The Renew Your Vows 2-pack, there have been a ton of Spider-Man 2-packs. And Rodney says, Kelly, Hasbro has no one to blame but themselves. I said, we'll see. Hasbro would make the Street Fighter figures faster. They probably do a wave of like 6, and then we'd be waiting on 2 of the World Warriors or 2 of the bosses for Shadow Low, and we'd just be waiting forever and ever. In Beltran, NBA line would have survived with legends. Shaq, Iverson, Magic, Hardaway, Jordan. Yeah, it's funny because your idea of the legends and mine are a little bit different. I would skew a little bit more to the 80s. Wouldn't disagree with your choice of 90s legends, but it's just funny, the different demographics. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why they decided let's do all modern, because that's not where the money is. And this is exactly what we were saying earlier, where they need to find a way to appeal to today's young kids, because the teenagers, the preteens can't buy starting lineup figures of their soon-to-be future legends at $50 a pop. It just doesn't work. At $50, you're just going to go, well, let me find 10 more bucks and I'll buy a video game. But that was a mistake for them big time. Dog, I wish Hasbro would just go pinless all the way. I don't understand why we're having this situation where we're still buying figures in 2023 with pins when they made such a big deal, such a huge spectacle of, hey, we've got these figures coming. So I just didn't understand why we had this thing where I'm still seeing Orb using a Bucky Cap buck when they have a new and improved mold, and we're seeing figures still coming with pins. There's no way we should see that now. Centurion Doctor, I'm young. The price hikes have been pushing me out of the Marvel Legends line. Yeah, I mean, the prices are too much, and especially when they're not dramatic improvements over what we were getting 4 years ago, when they're still using molds from 5 and 7 years ago. And it's like, now you're going to pay $25 for it. This doesn't work. John Kane, exactly $25 and rising. Kelly, you agree with Rodney? Imagine being a kid with $40 and wanting to buy Apocalypse. There's a Select or the Legends version. That kid will buy the Select 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, especially since he won't come with that Rogue figure. Blake, you didn't get any Primal Age figures. I'm more of a Marvel guy, and the figures are more squat than the latest Motu figures. Yeah, they were a little bit squat. I thought they were fun designs, but yeah, I was curious if anybody did get them. I guess not, considering they sold out so fast. Give us those Dark Jedi and Ahsoka from Black Series. Yeah. There's, the shows are really bad because now the Obi-Wan Kenobi figures are starting to pop up at retailers. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need to get a couple of those figures because, yeah, the 97 Marvel versus Capcom 2-pack. Goodness gracious, way to take me back there. Let's see how much effort would it be to find those. Hopefully not too much. Oh, here we go. Oh my God, Jay. I don't know if any of you guys follow Jay or on Come See Toys. He used to post so many cool reviews, and I haven't seen him post anything in a long time. But yeah, that's them right here. There's Cyclops with a leather jacket, Morgana, Bionic Commando, Strider, M. Bison against Spider-Man, War Machine, Cap, Venom, and there's Mega Man down at the bottom. Yeah, I'd love to see more of those 2-packs. Those were fun. Honestly, to me, Austin, The G.I. Joe figures look way better, more detailed than Marvel Legends, and they put so much more love in the figures. I mean, they include so much detail. It's like, yep, this is everything I want from this classified series figure. Whereas we get a Marvel Legends, and it's like, why don't we have the unmasked version of this character? With classifieds, we know that would be included, but yeah, it feels like all the time the Hasbro's Marvel Legends team are kind of like, well, here's a carrot. We'll get you that better version of the figure you want later. Classified is like, this might be the one and done. And we might do a Night Force, we might do a Tire Force version, but we're going to really knock out this figure right away for you, with the exception of Falcon and CoverGirl's face. We can barely buy the figures. Yeah, they're too expensive. The G.I. Joe Classified team stepped up their game in the latest reveals. Yes, they did. I was like, dude, bring me all these figures right now. And I can't wait to get those guys. Jada Toys revealed Mega Man for later this year. Oh, that is good news in Beltran. Was anyone disappointed with Mandalorian Season 3? I think a lot of people were. I didn't. My only disappointment was a certain Jedi Master was not on there, but I liked it fine. Another problem is there's no advertising for the cartoons or television shows anymore like the 80s and 90s. They don't have cool cartoons like we did. There's still properties that I want. I want to see Mask. I know Ramen's doing a Brave Star, Robotech. There's so many Spiral Zone. Does anybody remember Spiral Zone? Spiral Zone. But there's so many cool cartoons. It was like we were just spoiled. Bionic 6. I'd buy 6-inch versions of the Bionic 6 yesterday. So much stuff. Chad, what's going on? He made them make them all again. That Spider-Man is perfect. The blues and the reds, the eyes being big. Yeah, absolutely. Kelly, but since Hasbro laid off Corey, I'm thinking Joes aren't going to look as good. I hope he's still working with them. Maybe it's on a freelance basis. Maybe that's kind of the deal they struck. We're not going to keep you on salary, but maybe we'll pay him a little bit more in freelance. But yeah. Do I have any Valorverse figures in my collection? No, I don't. Recommend some for me because I keep hearing how great the Valorverse figures are, and I am very curious about which ones I need to pick up. So let me know if you have any suggestions. I don't remember his name, but the guy who's been sculpting the recent Hulk head sculpts for Marvel Legends, putting out good work. You talking about Paul Harding? Let me see how fast I can track his down because yes, he is really doing some great sculpting. And every time he's putting up something, it's like, whoa, that looks great. He did the Doctor Strange head sculpt, the Steve Rogers and Tony Stark head sculpts. There we go. So let me pull this up, hopefully, so you can see it without any problem. Ugh. So yeah, he does a lot of great stuff, Paul Harding, and that's his alien work. But I think this is the guy you're talking about. So yeah, he did the Joe Fixit head sculpts and Smiling. So he's really killing it with these head sculpts. The figures look really good, and I love the work he's doing. Thank you, Chad. Hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate it. After Mandalorian Season 3, I'm backing away from Mandalorian series figures, buying stuff from Clone Wars, Andor, Rogue One, original trilogy, and Ahsoka only. Man, I really want more Clone Wars figures, and I don't know why Hasbro just refuses to give them to me. I need more battle and super battle droids because, yeah, I mean, just I understand. And more clone troopers, more stormtroopers. Let me keep army building until I'm like, why do I have this many figures? Rodney, yeah, I had that Robotech DVD collection, and there are tons. Like all 3 versions of Robotech would make for really awesome figures. Kelly Cox, Valorverse looks really good. Draw me in line. Let me know which ones I should check out. Maybe I'll check those out and review them on the channel, one way or the other. All right, well, gang, thank you so much for rolling with me tonight. This is so much fun. And like I said, I'm thinking Saturday, I'm going to do another live stream. Probably going to talk about some teams that need to be completed, which way I want to see some companies go in terms of completing those teams. But thank you so much for being so active and participating big time in the chat. Thank you as always for watching. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.